Hi, let's skip the professionalism and all the fluff and get straight to the point. When I first sat down to make this video, I was going to tell you some long story about who I am, why I'm getting into game development. Then I realized you guys probably don't care. So anyways, my name's Gummy, and I'm getting into the YouTube game dev scene. Most game dev YouTubers start off by showing some crazy project with a million moving parts. You see the polished game, but not always what's happening behind the scenes. And don't get me wrong, I understand why. You're building a following, you want people to play your game, and honestly, I'll probably end up doing the same thing someday. But I want this channel to be a little different. I've messed around with game development before. I made this little game jam game where you shoot a ball, bounce it off walls, hit skulls, and mirror the X velocity. It was a fun game. I love this game, and sometimes I go play it for fun. But after that, I pretty much dropped game development entirely. And here's the thing. I have very basic programming skills, and when I mean basic, I mean basic. Back in high school, I took AP Computer Science Principles. We learned the basics of Python, loops, if statements, all that stuff. Programming always clicked for me, if this, then that, with a little algebra here and there. I've also played games my entire life, so naturally, I loved making them. What I didn't love was the art. I'm terrible at art. I was too intimidated to learn art, music, animation, basically everything that wasn't programming. At the same time, I was too stubborn to use other people's assets like everybody says to do because I didn't want to feel constrained. Which, now that I think about it, it's pretty dumb.
Game development also gets lonely. One of the reasons I love multiplayer games is because it's much more fun to share the experience with someone else. When I was making games, I didn't really have that. It was just me staring at a screen, and eventually I quit. But if we fast forward a few years, I'm in college now, and I had the time to take engineering and computational thinking. Somehow that class reminded me just how much I enjoyed creating things with code, and reminded me of the great fun I had while making games. So now I'm back. The goal of this channel is basically learn with me. I'm not going to hide things. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert. I'm here to document the process of figuring things out. Hopefully you guys can point out the dumb mistakes I'm making, and maybe it'll keep game development from feeling as lonely as it did the first time around. I also want to make a bunch of small games where each project focuses on learning one new thing, then I can take that skill into the next project and the next one after that. Kind of snowballing my way into becoming a better developer. There are a lot of things about learning game development that nobody really talks about. The repeated mistakes, truth about tutorial hell, and how to actually break out of it. A lot of the things that aren't fully explained in those how to make video games. I'm a pretty blunt person, so you'll probably hear a lot of it. But if all that sounds interesting, welcome to Devlog 0. I'm Gummy, and I think we're in for a pretty fun adventure.